Your personality dictates how you perceive the world, how you interact with others, and the people you attract. Your personality also influences the way you manage other people. We need managers and leaders to understand the people and the way they work with them. This means understanding personalities, understanding how to manage different people, and also how to understand your own shortcomings. I want to welcome you all back to Shaw Academy. Let's start with a quote. "Quiet people have the loudest minds," by Stephen Hawking. With that, welcome to today's lesson. In lesson 10, we are going to look at how to be a leader that understands different personality types. Our objectives will include personalities at work, tools to manage these personalities, and how to manage your own biases. Let's kick off with topic number 1. Personalities at work. We are going to explore introverts and extroverts. This is a great time to take notes. I want you all to identify which personality types you are and also think of your team as we are reviewing these character traits. Introverts. People who are introverted tend to be inward turning or focus more on internal thoughts, feelings, and moods, rather than seeking external stimulation. So let's look at signs of an introvert. According to Very Well Mind, here are 6 signs of an introvert. Energy drain. Introverts can become very drained when around a large group of people for extended amounts of time. Introverts need time alone or in a comfortable space to recharge and refocus. Solitude. Introverts are comfortable being by themselves or being around a very small amount of people. This does not mean that they will collapse if they are not left alone. This only means this is the way in which they recharge. Close group of friends. The misconception is that introverts don't like people. This is not the case. Introverts socialize with a smaller amount of people. They have a lot of close friends and they really connect with those people. Reserved. People may perceive introverts as being shy. Being reserved does not mean you are shy. This merely means that introverts want to assess the situation before giving their input. Stimulation. Unlike extroverts, introverts can feel drained after a day with a lot of people, activities, and external stimulation. Introverts find it easy to stimulate their own minds and find calm spaces more stimulating. Self-aware. As introverts are more inward focused, they tend to understand themselves very well. They are also able to understand their actions and how those actions impact those around them. Here we have 6 basic signs of introverts. Please take note that there are many more, but this is a good starting point. Let's look at extroverts. Extroverts are often described as the life of the party. They are outgoing and their vibrant nature draws people to them. They have a hard time turning away the attention. They thrive off of the interaction. Here are some common signs of being an extrovert. You enjoy being social. Extroverts like being around people and they gain a lot of outward stimulation from groups. Extroverts tend to be willing to socialize more with new people and approach new groups. They are not a fan of alone time. Unlike introverts, extroverts can find alone time to be very draining and boring. They need to be around others to recharge. Thrive around people. Extroverts are people who draw energy from a large amount of people. They are comfortable interacting with groups of people as they don't find it draining. Talk. Extroverts prefer to talk out a problem or idea. Extroverts like to bounce ideas off of people and gain better insight by doing so. Extroverts are known for being outgoing. This means they can be very energetic, outgoing, and optimistic. This may not be the case for all, but this is a very good and positive stereotype for this personality type. Enjoys risks. Extroverts are more likely to take a risk. One study noted that extroverts are rewarded with dopamine when they look for risks. For example, going up to a new group of people, jumping out of a plane, and so much more. Here you have 6 basic traits of the extrovert personality type. Just to prepare you guys for the next 2 slides. We're going to look at common workplace personalities. This is a great opportunity to really understand the people you work with. These are only general types to help guide you in knowing your staff and how you can better manage them. Here we go with the most common personalities you find in the workplace. According to Fast Company, we see 8 common personality types you will find in the workplace. Rising star. This type of personality is the rising talent that you have within the company. This person is very independent and they may look for ways to improve the company and their role. It's easy to see that this employee will be working towards big things in their career. So here are key leadership approaches you can take with this personality. Give this employee recognition for their hard work and contribution. With time, limit the amount of supervision for this employee and allow them to take more responsibility. A personal development plan is great for this employee as it gives them long-term growth. Domain master. These employees are very competent. They are usually the employees you can leave to do their jobs. They are reliable and they produce very steadily. They might not come up with new innovation or be the most creative, but they are very stable and reliable. Leadership approaches you can take with this personality will include: the aim is that the manager and the leader will nurture this personality type. Make sure they feel valued. Also, give them challenges at times to make sure they are doing well in their role and that they are not bored. Also ask this personality to give their input. Because they are so stable and reliable, they might have a lot of insight that can help us as managers and leaders. Squeaky wheels. These employees may produce large amount, but they also consume a lot of outside resources in order to do so. These employees need a large amount of support. They need help with problem solving, doing their jobs, and working with resources. Leadership approaches you can take with this personality type. Be very patient. Because these employees can produce large amounts, they need to be coached and mentored, otherwise they won't be independent. They have a lot of potential, but they need structure and follow-up. Make sure to structure the process for these employees and set checks and balances in place to make sure that they are doing their jobs. Steamrollers. These employees are strong producers, but their attitudes can become an issue. These employees may be very opinionated and step on toes around them. The company values these employees due to their ability to get the job done, but managers and leaders wish that this personality type would be more considerate. So here are approaches that you can take to manage this person. Focus on emotional intelligence. Make sure that you are coaching and mentoring this person so that they can build their emotional intelligence. Real-time feedback is a great way to address issues of behavior. So when something is not working, pull them aside, address the behavior, and guide them on how they can overcome the feelings or the situation. This may be a very tough employee to coach at the start, but you have to give this time. This is a long-term process to improve this type of employee. Continuing on, we see stowaways. A lot of companies with teams have these type of employees. They show up at work and they do very little. These employees may produce the bare minimum needed just to keep their jobs. They are also known to be clock watchers and they don't contribute much to the workplace. So how can you approach a leadership style for this personality type? The aim is to increase the amount the employee is giving to the company. So increase the amount of time you spend with this employee. Frequent one-on-one check-ins will help a lot. If the situation does not improve, a performance evaluation can be used to set an improvement plan in place to help this employee. Joyriders. These employees come with a lot of energy and ideas. They love coming up with activities and innovative ideas for the office and the team. The issue is that this personality type can get caught up in idea or concept and forget to do their jobs. This personality type can be very outward focused on everything but their actual work. They can socialize and want to be part of the team, but they are producing little. So, leadership approaches you can take. You need to refocus this employee. Consistency is key. Limit the amount of social projects this employee can take on and help structure their day. A good way to help them is set up an hourly schedule that gives them goals throughout the day that will help recenter them. Make sure that you are giving this employee support and feedback. Make sure they feel valued. Square pegs. This is a very interesting one. This may be the 10% of your team that consumes 90% of your leadership capital. These employees will claim to work hard and wants everyone to know it. In reality, they contribute very little to their position and to the team. You may identify this employee as you have checked on their work, you have to constantly recheck it, fix mistakes, and at times do their jobs. The unfortunate truth is, this employee may not have the needed skills to do this job. Approaches you can take for this employee. Focus on the skills. You can conduct a skills analysis to see which skills they have and which they need. You can either help the employee to gain the skills for the role or simply move them to another role or department. Slackers. These employees have the required skills on paper to do their jobs, but when it comes down to actually doing the job, they have no real idea what they need to do. Unlike the Stowaways, slackers don't even do the bare minimum. They seem lost and unsure of what they need to do, and they also don't ask for help or support. Managers have to frequently check up on this employee to make sure they are doing something. So what is the leadership approach you can take here? Focus on motivation. These employees may be your dark horse, so they can potentially be your best employee, but they have no idea how to channel it. The aim is to push the employee to reach their potential. This may mean that at the end of the coaching and development, you have an amazing employee, or you have an employee that needs to start looking for other opportunities. So let's look at managing different personality types. According to About Leaders, we see the following 4 approaches. Understand your bias. A lot of managers and leaders don't know their own bias, and this can make it very hard to improve. Bias is based on race, gender, and so much more. The aim is for managers and leaders to be honest with themselves and identify their own bias. Use the evaluation to start working on overcoming your own bias. In your toolkit, I added a bias test that you can take that gives you a good starting point to understanding yourself. Diffuse. There can be a lot of conflict in companies with a wide variety of personalities. The aim is for the manager and the leader to diffuse the conflict and bridge the gap. Share a personality test with your employees and give a training session to better understand each other. Focus on listening. As we said in Lesson 9, listening is part of communication. Listening is just as important as speaking, and we need more active listeners in the workplace. This means that you are listening to the needs of your employees and that you understand how to approach each personality type. This means you are able to give everyone the support and the guidance that they need. Invest. Invest in recognition and reward systems that looks at both introverts and extroverts. Send out a survey and understand the best way to motivate your employees. The company needs to invest in ways that engages their employees. High levels of engagement means that the company will perform well and have long-term employees. Continuing on, according to Creativity Circle, the following 4 approaches can also be used. Same team. The gap between introverts and extroverts needs to be closed. The company should promote one team approach. This means that everyone is valued in the same way. Coming back to rewards and recognition, the company should ideally take into account what all parties need to feel motivated. Motivation allows for cohesion and teamwork. Keep it neutral. Coach and mentor your employees not to take everything so personally. It can be very tough to navigate different personalities, conflict, and so much more. The aim is to give team members the skills to self-reflect, learn, and grow. Navigate egos. Egos can cause conflict, damage a team, and result in employees wanting to leave the company. There may be employees that feel like they are above the system. The aim is for the manager and the leader to address the egos that is damaging the team. Egos can be a good trait at times, as it pushes individuals to reach new heights. But the opposite is also true. It can become very toxic and harm everyone. So we need our managers and leaders to be on top of this issue. Keep gossip positive. For the good of all, it is better to get ahead of gossip. Gossiping can give employees anxiety and make them feel frustrated when they do not have the correct information, as we said in Lesson 9. Managers and leaders can also allow for positive gossiping by giving employees sneak peeks into what is coming up, new changes, and plans that will positively impact the company and everyone. I will give you guys a few seconds just to process all of that information as I move into a sneak peek of what is coming up in Module 2. We will start Module 2 with a lesson on teamwork. This lesson will focus on leading teams with confidence. Topics we will cover will include team managing, tools that will help you as a manager, and leading with delegation. These are essential lessons managers and leaders need to improve the way in which they manage their teams and to improve your confidence. With that, let's head into topic number 2. Personality tools. According to the HR Daily Advisor, here are 4 personality assessment tools companies can use. Number 1, California Psychological Inventory. Companies use CPI to look for employees who are likely to interact well with others. The aim of the test is to see how employees will react under specific circumstances. The topics will cover sociability, conceptual understanding, and independency. This assessment is very well known for being reliable. 2, Caliper Profile. This assessment looks at 25 personality traits related to the job achievement. The assessment notes strengths and weaknesses of the employees. The test will include attributes linked to empathy, leadership, time management, and many more. Number 3, Myers-Briggs. This is a very popular assessment, very well known across the world. It looks at different personality types. Although this personality type is so popular, the reliability of the test has come into question at times. The assessment looks at strength, weaknesses, and many more. It is more used to help employees understand themselves and others. They are more reliable measurement sources that companies can use. 16 Personality Factors Questionnaire. This assessment is used in companies, educational institutions, used by counselors, and many more. This test includes social boldness, openness to change, self-reliance, and being a perfectionist. Research found that this is a very reliable assessment tool that companies rely on quite often. A lot of the assessments available are free, and some you have to pay for. The aim with all the assessments is for people to better understand themselves and others. It helps guide managers and leaders to better understand people. Let's have a look at the benefits of using these personality assessments in the workplace. Developing better teams. Managers and leaders can use assessment to set up new teams. This test can also be used when hiring new employees. The aim is to set up a team that complements each other and that helps the company grow. The assessments help the company understand the future success of the employees. That being said, assessment should not become the begin-all and end-all when working with employees. Use it as a guide and not an absolute science. Use assessments for better motivating and coaching. Assessments are an amazing tool we can use to understand and motivate our employees. It helps managers and leaders set up recognition and reward programs that looks at the needs of all and not only a few. Coaching can be tailored toward the employee, and it can lead to improving employees' performance and their overall productivity. Reduce conflict management. When employees feel understood, they are less likely to fight and have conflict. When people feel understood, they are more willing to come to work, they are willing to compromise, and they are happy to extend this to their co-workers. The aim is to have everyone at work be more cohesive. Increase understanding. All of this leads us to increased understanding. The employees feel understood. They are more likely to be willing to understand others. This means that managers and leaders are creating a very supportive environment. We share the personality types of our employees with each other so that they can read up, understand, and make improvements themselves. Point out the do's and the don'ts of each personality type to help your team grow in their own understanding. Let's have a look at introverts as managers and leaders. They are known for being good listeners. Introverts have been known to be active listeners. As they process information internally, they can take time to process it before speaking and giving an answer. This means that the employees feel listened to and they have a platform to speak. This also means that the introvert manager and leader better analyzes the needs of the employees. Excel at critical thinking. Introverts are known for being critical thinkers as they internalize a problem and solve it before sharing it with the team. This is a great advantage for any manager or leader. This will lead to effective problem solving and making decisions that benefits the entire team. Detail-orientated. Introverts are also known for being very detail-orientated. It means they want to know all the information before making a decision. This implies in the way that they work as well. They tend to be less emotional. Well, this might not be true. Everyone can be the same level of emotional. It comes down to how you express those emotions. Because of this, introverts can be less likely to display their emotions at all. This allows them to be in control of their emotions and develop their emotional intelligence more rapidly. Let's look at the do's of managing introverts. Environments for all. Create an office space where employees can work as a team and also move to a quiet space if they need time to recharge or work on their own. Have a balance in the way you set up your office space. Communication. Set up a communication plan that works for introverts and extroverts. You can also allow your introverted employees to set up one-on-one meetings with you so they have time and space to download. Training. You can offer introverts the opportunity to join training sessions on public speaking and things they feel they are lacking. The key is to build on what the employee needs. Be fair. As we have said, it is very important for managers and leaders to manage their own bias. This means preferring one personality type over another. The key is to be fair when giving promotions, raises, and projects. Leadership roles. There have been cases where introverts have not stepped up to take a leadership role. Research has shown that when introverts take on a leadership role, they can flourish. At times, it is great to encourage your introvert employees to take on a leadership role. It pushes them to reach the next level of their careers. But keep in mind, this has to be done in time. Make sure that you are gradually pushing the employee and you are ensuring that they are comfortable. Push conformity. You won't be able to change the personality types of your team. Avoid setting up systems or communication processes that only benefit one type of personality. Allow employees to be themselves and create a neutral system. Use the limelight as a reward or punishment. This comes down to knowing your team. It is very important to know if they want to be in the limelight or not. Avoid using it as a reward or punishment when you don't know the impact it will have on your employee. For example, when you use the limelight as a reward, but the action gives the employee anxiety, it fails to be a reward, regardless of what you intended. Consistency. Most employees look to managers and leaders to create consistency. This also applies to introverts. They need you to be consistent in the way you treat them, how you set up standards and systems, and also how you follow up. Only focus on the needs of some. As we have said, managers and leaders have to be neutral. You need to set your own likes and dislikes aside to serve your team. Use the collective needs of your teams to better lead them. Lose your patience. It can be tough managing someone who is completely opposite from you. The key is to never lose your patience. Understand before reacting. Make sure that you are investing time to understand your introverted team members. Let's look at extroverts as managers and leaders. They focus on the people. Extroverts make good managers and leaders as they are able to focus on the people. This includes clients, employees, and other stakeholders. This means they are more able to connect and network with those around them. They are very social. Extroverts are known for being sociable and outward focused. They can connect with their employees and stakeholders very easily as they provide the opportunity to interact with them. People have more access to this manager or leader due to them being more sociable. Clients. Extroverts make great salespeople as they connect with large amounts of people very quickly. This means that they can take the skill to their team. They can help to improve the skill of their team members. Extroverts are also known for being very positive. This is a very big benefit to the company as a whole. It creates a very good working environment and people want to be at work. So here are the do's of managing extroverts. Create time for problem solving. Extroverts need time to work through problems. They need to talk it out with someone as they bounce off ideas. As this process can take time, it's good to set up a process that will help the employee. For example, call a small think tank or a one-on-one meeting. Idea sharing is key. Extroverts feel centered around people. They need a work environment when they can work in groups and collaborate. This will help them create ideas, come up with innovation, and it will stimulate them more externally. Set the level of detail. To help guide the extroverts, set up the level of detail that you want from the idea or the objective. Outline what you need and what you need them to provide. This will help them plan and deliver the correct amount of information. Set boundaries. Talking and collaboration can take a lot of hours, and at times there is just not enough hours in the day. Set boundaries of when they can collaborate and when they need to work on their own. This will help extroverts manage their time better and reach objectives. Guide the ups and downs. As extroverts like to externally work through problems and tasks, it can mean there are a lot of ups and downs. The aim is for the manager and the leader to better guide them through these emotions, help them see the solution faster, and encourage them where you can. What are the don'ts of managing extroverts? Solo projects. Extroverts can work on solo projects, but they prefer teamwork. As they get their stimulation externally, they will struggle working on their own. No reward or recognition. I think this can apply to most employees, but more so for extroverts. Make sure you are surveying your employees to know what motivates them. Little interaction. Avoid structuring their days too much where it leaves the employees with little time to connect with others. Give extroverts the stimulation they need to ensure that they are thriving. Admin and details. Extroverts find too much admin and details tedious and less engaging. Set up a good balance between interaction, admin, and how detailed the admin is. Here we have a look at manage your own perception and bias. Bias explained. Though we should strive to be as fair in judgment as possible, the reality is that we all have biases that affect our judgment. Managers are no exception to the rule, and a number of common biases affect how they evaluate their employees. Some of the most common are stereotyping, selecting perception, confirmation biases, first impression biases, all of the things that influences how a manager and a leader will work with employees. Biases can be an issue for all companies. At times, it can start as early as when we start to recruit. It is very important to understand the bias you have in place and how it affects the company as a whole. According to Social Talent, recruitment biases will include the following. The beauty bias. When companies hire more attractive employees, this means that people who are attractive gain a competitive advantage in the market. Someone with a higher level of education or experience can lose out because they are not attractive. Affinity bias. This is, for example, when you hire someone because they were in the same university as you, or you have a lot of things in common. Because of this, you can assume things about the candidate. Halo effect. This is when you see one great thing about the candidate and you let that overshadow any of the other red flags. For example, the employee worked at a world-famous marketing agency. Because of this, you have assumed that the employee is great without checking up on their references. Horn effect. This is the opposite of the halo effect. You allow one bad thing about the candidate to overshadow all of the good. You don't like the college the candidate attended. Here we have dangerous biases of managers and leaders. So this impacts all of the ways that managers and leaders work with their employees. The manager or leader gives the employees a lot of advantages when they think the employee is similar to them. This means that other personality types do not get the same advantages. I hired you. This occurs when the manager or leader wants to defend his or her decision. This can become very dangerous because it does not look at what the employee is doing. It comes down to the ego and the pride of the manager and the leader. I coached you. This means the manager or leader defends the actions of the employee because the manager and leader invested time in them. Because of the time invested, the managers and leaders believes that whatever the employee does reflects on them, which can be good or bad. So this bias can mean that bad behavior is rewarded. Hard limits. This is when the manager and leader limits the company. For example, I won't hire someone without a Harvard degree. The manager and the leader allows for their own bias to limit the company as they are not willing to compromise. I used to do that job. The manager or leader will have a set idea of what is right or wrong when it comes down to that position. That means that they have a bias when it comes to change. They won't allow for growth as they feel they know what is best for that role. Pressure to deliver. This is when the manager or leader is under a lot of pressure to deliver. They can rely on their own bias to guide them. It can leave the company stuck with very little growth. This is a very hard situation to turn around. So with that, let's have a look at some of the ways you can overcome these biases. Increase your self-awareness. Your EQ will guide you. Your emotional intelligence is an amazing tool for your personal and professional life. It allows you to better manage yourself. By better managing yourself and your emotions, you will become a better leader and manager. Focus on your discomfort. Allow yourself to be uncomfortable for the sake of growth. Avoid going back to the same comfort zone. Your comfort zone can leave you without growth and feeling stuck in your position. Allow yourself to become better. Educate yourself. Education is key. Read up on the bias that you have. Make sure to better understand those around you and understand yourself. Education will mean that you can improve and that you can connect better with others. It can also lead to more empathy and understanding. Lesson 1 of Module 2 starts next week, so I hope that you've all sorted out your memberships, booked your classes, and are ready for the last step to complete your module. Remember, this is the one that counts, 25% of your module mark. You have gained so much practical skills throughout this module, so take this final step that will enable you to get your Module E certificate. Let's move into a challenge before we end this lesson. I want you all to really evaluate your own personality. Evaluate the personality types of your employees. Also select an assessment tool that you want them to take. Finally, pinpoint your own bias and really start to educate yourself. With that, let's have a quick look at the progress that you have made. I want to congratulate you all. You've successfully made it through 10 lessons of Module 1. You have completed your first module. You should be extremely proud of yourself and the work that you've put into this course. This has been an amazing module with new concepts, terms, practical approaches. Everything is aimed to empower you as a leader and a manager. I hope that you are all applying the knowledge that you have received and that you are seeing the changes. I will leave you all with this. Norma Mailer said, "Every moment of one's existence, one is growing into more, or you are retreating into less." Just a quick note that we will kick off Lesson 1 of Module 2 with teamwork. This is not a lesson that you want to miss.